Hello and welcome again to another episode of Rehabilitation Hospital of Indiana's RHI. Stories of courage, hope, attitude, and inspiration. And we do thank our generous sponsor, Wilson Keyhone Winningham. And today we have Tina and Jim Goodpaster. Tina, you were one of our Patients of the Year recipients 2018. You got your, were recognized this year at the celebration in 2019, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you said you're okay talking about, you were here at Unit 4. So what brought you to RHI? How'd that all come about?
I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in February, 3 days after our 5th year anniversary in February of 2017, right?
18.
2018. And I'd been having symptoms for the year before that.
Can you share a little bit? I mean, what, you having headaches or what do you mean?
No, actually, they were symptoms that could easily be attributed to other things, such as I have other physical health issues, so they were playing with medication, and so I was having mood issues. That's what we attributed to the medication. But I started having issues with word processing. I mean, I didn't know that that's what it was at the time. I just thought that other people weren't explaining things well. And just mainly cognitive, really. That's the word processing, memory, just things like that. And so we thought that it was a medication.
And did a neurologist order? Were you working with a neurologist on that?
I didn't see a neurologist because my primary care doctor just thought that it was medication, so we just were switching medications and thought that I was just struggling emotionally with pain and the other issues and things like that. So I actually was really hard on myself during that time. I just thought that I wasn't a strong person, that I was weak, I
beat yourself up and went to a dark place, right?
Yeah, I went to a very, very dark place that even affected my faith. I even got to a point where I couldn't sense God's presence in my life anymore. I questioned His existence. It was a very, very dark place. But in February, when the diagnosis came, I actually had a seizure, and that's what was the red flag and why I got a CAT scan, and then they sent me for an MRI. They thought I'd had a stroke, actually.
Now, prior to that, had you had any other seizures? Was that your?
That was my very first seizure.
Mm-hmm.
Actually happened in a public place, at a public meeting, local government meeting. So, but thankfully I knew most of the people there, and they surrounded me with love and support and concern, and so within a matter of days we knew that it was a tumor, and within a matter of weeks we knew that it was not aggressive, but it had been growing for, they said, 5 to 7 years. So practically the entire time that we had known each other, but we didn't know that it was there. So but they said that it was inoperable. But the wound from the surgery, the biopsy,
Okay.
they said it should heal within 5 to 7 days, and it took 5 weeks, which gave me time to get a third opinion. And then thankfully that specialist, they did a special MRI, and they said that it was operable. So 5 days later after that, the wound from the biopsy healed. And so I told Jim on the way here, it's like we've been on a candy land
Oh, yeah, you got up and
Just like, yeah. So it's like we've been on a Candyland journey, only not as, not as fun,
right.
but still pretty amazing. And then after the surgery, I was able to be admitted here. I had an insurance agent who knew about RHI, and
Case manager for
yeah,
our
my case-
medical
Now, where did you have
insurance.
your surgery at?
IU Health,
Okay.
yeah. And my health insurance case manager, she was very familiar with RHI, and she strongly, like, she educated us about the difference between regular therapies and specialized therapy. And she educated us, and she advocated for me at the hospital, and she worked with their case manager, and I was accepted here and able to be admitted, and she worked on the insurance side to get it approved. And the day that I was wheeled in, I just felt like I was coming into a place of light and hope and healing. And it was just a beautiful moment.
You already covered the hope part. So
Oh!
there you go. I mean, boom, there it is, right? Now,
Yeah.
how long? Okay, so you went to Unit 4, right?
Yes.
And then how long were you here?
Originally they estimated that I would be here 17 days, and I was able to I had met all my goals within 10 days. Yeah.
And then I think after you meet your goals, something happens in the gym, right? Did you do?
Oh yes. I rang the bell.
Oh, yeah.
Got to ring the bell, and all my therapists were there, and it was a glorious moment.
So you want to talk to us a little bit about being here or some of the therapies that you did here? Did anybody stand out? Did you give anybody a hard time? Jim, did you give anybody a hard time here?
Actually, no. I behaved myself. When she got here, she could hardly take a lot of steps on a walker, and she was in a wheelchair most of the time. And the support and the knowledge and the care from the therapist, I think, is what made the biggest difference. They sent me clips of, because I was back home part of the day, and I would drive here to see her in the evening, and then I would go home, at like 9 o'clock at night, drive an hour and a half, get back home, take care of stuff at home, come back in the evening, and she was telling me, I talked to her during the day, and she was telling me about how hard some of the therapist was on her to make her the weights with the side steps over the cones.
That was Molly.
Yeah, but then when I come pick her up, check her out on the 11th day, she was walking upstairs, she was without any assistance, and all that. So
Yeah. In addition to that, I had trouble with what I learned it was called task sequencing, and so I wasn't even able to, when I first came here, I wasn't even able to remember in what order to wash my hands, flush the toilet, just weird things like that. And one of the therapists here, she's a speech therapist, she worked with me. She explained to me what it was, and she worked with me. There was like 30 steps that I wrote down of how to do task sequencing for using the bathroom. And I went back to my room, and I read it and reread it and reread it, and the next day it was just so amazing. It's so amazing how much easier that became, and more and more and more. I tell you, the therapists here, they love what they do, they're good at what they do, and they love people, and that made all the difference in the world to my recovery. And they challenge, and they're fun. I baked a better than sex cake my last day here for the staff. I went from not being able to know how to use the bathroom to baking a cake in 10 days.
And then, we know excuse me, we also know too, you put the work in, you had support, family
Yeah.
and friends, right, Jim? I mean, it's the whole package, right?
Yeah.
It's in, and you said your faith, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the whole package. Just real quick too, I know you did outpatient, you did stuff at the NRC, which is now Northwest Brain Injury Center. Can you talk a little bit about, tell us about the things that you did up there and the new program that you went through up there too?
Oh, well, the therapists there are so amazing.
You went up there 2 days a week, I think you said?
2 days a week
For
for
how-
5 months.
2 full days.
2
Yeah.
full days a week for 5 months. Their education about how the brain functions, and that the brain, the plasticity of the brain, and the ability that the brain has to heal if you give it what it needs to heal. That was so helpful, because I realized that I had a responsibility and an ability to help my brain just form new connections and to help it heal. That's just so empowering. And then they also worked with me to learn practical strategies for how to cope with whatever deficits I have or will continue to have. And I would say one of the most helpful things is self-monitoring, like how to tune in, the importance of tuning into yourself and being aware of where you're at in your emotions, your tolerance for your endurance, and then strategies for helping yourself stay balanced when you need to, how to know when you need to rest, and just those are things that still help me.
Yeah, and then you guys did so they have a program, they're called Brain Injury Coping Skills.
Yeah.
Now, the acronym for that is BICS. That was developed up at NRC and BICS by the team up there. You guys probably know that.
Yeah.
And now they offer this program, because you went through, it's designed to go through as a couple, or
Yeah.
right? You did it online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
an hour a week for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then tell Jim, if you want to, because especially it's for what did you learn out of for the-
There's not a
for
lot
the-
of stuff out there for caregivers, and so there were a caregiver or another caregiver or maybe 2 on this program, and so it was it was good to realize what she was going through as her husband's caregiver and things like that, and the whole group dynamic, it kind of gives you an idea that you're not alone out there, which, I think probably a lot of people, as they're going through these things, think they're all by themselves, but they're not. There's other people out there, and, to see what, some of them went through, and to listen to their successes, and then we were all able to help each other see things, so.
And then you were able to understand a little bit more, like what was affected, right, or what you have to deal with together, right,
Yeah,
Tina, right?
yeah,
So,
definitely. It helped.
Yeah.
It helped us understand each other more, and it made me more aware of what he goes through, because I also heard other caregivers, just listening to other caregivers talk about their concerns and what they struggle with, and what helps them. It made me more aware that he's a caregiver, and that he has his own set of challenges and struggles, and that there are ways that I can support him too.
Yeah, see, it kind of goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
But it's healthy that you get to understand. You can see both sides of
Yeah.
the coin on that.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we thank you very much for coming in. I can definitely see why you were patient of the year. I mean, I'm sure you were a light. I'm sure on that unit for Unit 4, and then I'm sure the nurses and doctors can see that, and that kind of emanates through everybody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we thank the Goodpasters for coming in. I know they have a lot of friends. Oh, you want to do a shout out to your friends that you had tune in?
Hi guys, we're so thankful for all the support, not just here at RHI, but you guys and for all the cards that we received and just your faithfulness and loving us and supporting us through our journey. Love you.
So thank you, and there is a link down there, and this is what we do, the foundation, and up at NBICS, that's where BICS, Brain Injury Coping Skills, was developed at, and please help us continue what we do up there. Thank you.